I'll share more details here in the sidebar. Why Srila Prabhupada didn't accept the name that Karundar had selected for me, and why Srila Prabhupada selected my name himself. This is based on what Karundar told me in 1975. Karundar would select the names for the first initiates weeks before the initiation. Then when Srila Prabhupada arrived in LA prior to the initiations, Karundar would go to Srila Prabhupada's room and he would take everyone's beads. He'd put a name, a tag on the beads with our birth name and our new spiritual name that Karundar had come up with. Karundar would take one set of beads, he would read the name that he'd selected, and hand that set of beads to Srila Prabhupada so Srila Prabhupada would chant on them. Then Karundar would take another separate set of beads, he would read the name that he had given on that bead, but then Karundar would chant on that bead. So in this way, they would each be chanting on one set of beads. And they would chant one round on the beads together. In this way, half the devotees, Srila Prabhupada had chanted on their beads, and the other half, Karundar had chanted on their beads. Karundar told me that he had picked up my beads, read off my name that he had selected, and then handed my beads to Srila Prabhupada. He told me that Srila Prabhupada paused and was looking closely at my beads. And then he told Karundar, no, his name shall be Amya Atma. Prabhupada pronounced it. We call it Amya Atma. My name is spelled Ameyatma, and everyone else uses the Sanskrit pronunciation and calls me Ameyatma. But Srila Prabhupada has Bengali accent, and he pronounced it as Amyoatma, adding an O in the middle. During my initiation ceremony, this is the way he pronounced it, Amyoatma.
Yes. So your spiritual name is Amyo Atma or Amyo Atma. The Atma which cannot be measured.
And I say it was a Bengali pronunciation because in 1979, on my first trip to India, I was in Mayapur and I wanted my name carved on kartals that I purchased in Navadvip. And when I told them my name, Ameyatma, the two Bengalis couldn't understand. So I wrote it down. And then they saw how it was written. They pronounced it exactly as Srila Prabhupada said, saying, Amyo Atma. So you might be wondering why Srila Prabhupada had paused and was looking at my beads and then rejected the name Karundar had selected for me, which would have been Janardhan Das, and instead told Karundar my name would be Amyo Atma Das, or Ameyatma Das. Well, here are my original japa beads. These are the ones that Srila Prabhupada chanted on, and these are the ones that he was looking at. I'm going to do some close-up videos so you'll be able to see what I'm referring to here. He told me that when he handed these beads to Srila Prabhupada, the Prabhupada paused and was looking at them. They were just standard name tree beads, so why was he pausing? What was he looking at so closely? When I restrung my beads, I had tied a little silver jari type earring onto the head bead. I hadn't asked anyone if that was okay to do that or not, but they were on the beads when Srila Prabhupada chanted on them, and Karundar didn't tell me that Srila Prabhupada had made any objections to that. Other devotees, when they saw the earring on my beads, they complained and they chastised me for it, so 2 months after I was initiated, I took it off. That probably caught his attention at first, but well, let me show you. This is visible after all these years. It's now 2020 as I am making this video. And I was initiated in 1973, so that was 47 years ago. 47 years of chanting on these beads. Of course, we don't chant on the head bead. But I had actually written on the head bead, though, so forgive me, Krishna. I had written in the Devanagari Sanskrit. Even though I wrote on the head beads, again, Karundar didn't say that Srila Prabhupada had said anything about it. But it probably wasn't the best thing to do, is to write on the head bead, because the head bead is Krishna. But anyway, I did so, and Here's what I wrote. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. And then sideways, I wrote Jaya Prabhupada, but the head bead. I had written Om Gopi Jana. Yeah, just that, Om Gopi Jana. I was a new bhakta when I wrote that, and I wrote it before I was initiated. And I had read the translation to Gopi Jana Vallabha, which means the protector of the gopis, but I didn't know Sanskrit well enough, so I thought that Jana meant protector, and then Gopi, Om Gopi Jana. So I thought Om Gopi Jana meant the protector of the gopis, but actually Jana just means a people. So Om Gopi Jana just addresses the gopis. Vallabha is the word that actually means protector. Anyway, I just had only written Om Gopi Jana, and besides, the bead is very small, and that was all there was room for. I had written these using an ordinary ballpoint ink pen. And after I wrote these words on the bead, I then dipped the bead in some acrylic varnish. Here, I found a bottle of it. Same, except the one I used was probably a gloss varnish. Anyway, that's what I dipped the head bead into. Even though I wrote this with just a regular ballpoint pen, after the beads had soaked in oil even, and then I sealed it with this acrylic varnish, it has lasted over 47 years so far as of this video recording without coming off.